Welcome to Gracious George Podcast. My new podcast features the topics of spirituality, divine love, blessings, and how divine providence leads us to where we need to be in life. As a Mauritian being raised on a small island in the Indian Ocean east of Africa called Mauritius, I grew up in cultural diversity. I have African, European, and Indian descent, and I speak Mauritian Creole, French, English, Bhojpuri, and Hindi fluently. Initially on the path to priesthood, my life took a turn. As I followed my heart, I learned the love that was meant for me by walking with Jesus. My experience toward divine love has been an incredible journey, and I've written a book about how my life evolved when I turned to a greater love in life. It's called The Jesuit Who Changed Paths, and it will be available in April 2021. You can follow along by finding me on my Facebook page at George's Forthcoming Book. In this podcast, I'm sharing my experience with you, and I welcome your conversation and interaction on this subject. Today, we are happy to welcome Kailea DeLeon, who has accepted to be our guest. She's an actor, both in theater and film and TV, and also a songwriter and a singer. Welcome, Kailea.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little about yourself?
As you mentioned, I act in both theater and film and TV. I write songs, I sing, I play guitar. I just started playing piano, which I find really exciting. Interested in animals. I have a lot. I have horses, dogs, cats, chickens, multiples of all of them. Had cows up until last year. Had to get rid of those. I'm interested in nature, writing, reading. Yeah, ooh, I have a podcast on reading. Just started that last month. This podcast thing it's a theme these days. It's fun.
What I like with you are a free spirit, you are very creative, you are interested in different things, and you always look joyful. So, where can you tell us something about the place you live in, and what are the interesting things to see there that you would recommend people to visit?
All right. I live in Langley, which is kind of like a suburb in Vancouver in the outskirts. In Langley itself, there's not a whole lot that's interesting, but if you cross the river, there's lots of mountains. One of my favorite places is Golden Ears Park. There's also a really nice lookout in Abbotsford, which is the city to the east. They have a little hike up there, and it shows just a beautiful view of the valley. You can see Abbotsford and Chilliwack, the river, some more of the coastal mountains, Mount Baker. Just there's a lot of scenery out here. If you like nature, this is a place to visit for sure. And there's a lot to do.
Yes, and
Yeah.
there are lots of farms and with horses also. I think there in
Yeah. Yeah,
Langley.
kind of like mine. Yeah. Yeah, there's still quite a few in Langley. It's getting developed more and more as we only have a limited space of land and lots of people want to live here because we have the best climate in Canada, as we like to think.
Right.
Um, yeah, but there's llamas and horses and cows and sheep and goats and pigs that you can see in the neighborhoods.
What are the things that makes you happy?
I love being creative. I love performing music, especially. There's something about music that really satisfies my soul and excites me, especially when I'm creating it or I come across something that I really, really, really like, and it just speaks to me, makes me really happy. Lots of artistic things. Also, accomplishing things. I think accomplishing things, if you set a goal and then you get it done, that also really makes me happy. Yeah.
You were talking about music, about songs. Do you have a song in mind that you could just sing at least one, a little bit for us?
Oh wow, that's really putting me on the spot.
I like doing that.
Oh, now my mind is blank. A song, just any song or a song that I've written, any specific genre?
No, any song that you like.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, oh, that's tough.
Okay,
There's
okay, think about it. We'll come again to it.
okay.
Okay, so tell us what are your practices to maintain happiness?
Uh, to keep doing things and keep exploring, keep interacting with people, like making sure to have, like, especially during COVID, it's really hard to see people, especially where we live, because of the restrictions. We're not allowed to see anybody outside of our households. And just talking to people on the phone or via Zoom, it's not quite the same, but like trying to see people, even if it's from a distance, and have that interaction. Um, yeah, trying new things. I started a sewing class this January for some reason. Just to have a little bit of excitement. And then I told you I started piano a few months ago as well. Just I don't learning and trying new things and keeping relationships with people, those kind of things, I think, are able to maintain happiness. Also, animals. There's nothing that can beat a good fluffy cuddle.
Recently, you told me you have been to Egypt, uh, traveling to Egypt. Can you tell us a little about places you have visited, people in your life or events in your life that has had an impact on you?
Ooh, yeah. I went to Guatemala in 2007. I spent about 5 months there. It was kind of like an exchange program, kind of not, but I ended up living with a Guatemalan family there. And it was such a life changing experience for me, being able to live with people actually from there. And obviously, it improved my Spanish quite a lot and I came closer to fluency. Seeing how other people live, how other people think, and how other people in the world live, and to open up your mind, because when you grow up someplace you kind of just assume that everywhere else is the same except for what you see on TV. There's TV world and then there's your world, and everywhere else is like you. At least that's kind of how I knew consciously that the rest of the world was different, but until you actually live in it, I don't know if you find the same thing because you've lived many places too, but every place you go and you live there, you're like, wow, we're all kind of the same, but we all have different experiences and different ways of doing things depending on where we are in the world.
Yeah.
So that living in Guatemala, I'd say living in London as well, and Ecuador. I spent 4 months in London, about 8 months in Ecuador, and then in Paris. Just really different places for me, at least, and having a lot of different experiences and how each of those types of people do things and see the world, and then you can grab so much of it, so much from it, and learn so much. And it every time you do that, your mind opens up just a little more, and you are more able to see things in various ways, I think.
Thank you. Is there any person in your life who has had an important impact on you?
There's this man, his name is Gary Peacock. He was my singing teacher at Lambda, which is the school that I went to in London. Up until that point, when I was in high school, I was basically told that I couldn't sing. I auditioned for the musicals and they said no because my voice was too weak. For whatever reason, I was one of the only two people not cast. And it really, really affected me. So they fast forward something like 8 years, and I have some friends that are like, oh yeah, you know what, just try it anyways. It doesn't matter if you can't sing. It's fun. So I started to do a little bit, and then I went to Lambda, and Gary, as soon as he heard me sing, his jaw basically dropped, and he's like, you have a bright future ahead of you. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You actually like my voice? You like it that much? And that just instilled so much confidence and completely changed the way that I thought about my own voice. I still don't like my voice that much, but it's kind of ingrained when you think about yourself negatively in a certain way for so long. It's hard to get out of that. But at least I know now that other people enjoy it. But that was like the first defining moment for me where it's like, oh, I can actually sing. I can actually do this.
This is one of the reasons I wanted you to sing something for us today.
But now there's so much pressure.
All right. So tell us, is religion or spirituality important for you in your life, or they are not
not,
important?
not anymore. I was raised, wow. I was raised Protestant up until my early 20s, and I just decided to leave it behind. I couldn't, just for my own mental health, and this is just me. I know it's important to you and important to a lot of people, but it was dragging me down in a way that wasn't good for me. And when I gave it up, I felt such relief, which is, I know, is the opposite for a lot of people entering religion, because they're like, oh, my burdens were lifted. But I felt leaving religion that my burdens were lifted. And to, yeah, I mean, struggling with that non-belief for so long anyways, and to try and believe in a God that ignores you or doesn't acknowledge things. I guess it was better to be like, life just happens because it happens, and that's just chance. Yeah. So that's me.
Yeah, but you have so many beautiful things happening in your life that brings you joy. You spoke about animals on your farm. You spoke about music, different music instruments that you play, and you're learning new instruments, writing songs, singing, acting, theater. Oh yeah, theater. Tell us a little about your experience in theater.
Oh, I miss theater so much. I think it's been a year now since the last time I was able to do theater, because COVID ended our show the last week before it was supposed to end. So we only got 2 weeks, and our audience dropped so much because everyone was too afraid to go out. But man, it's such a rush, such a, I don't know how to describe it. Performing is just such a beautiful thing. And to enter in somebody else's shoes, and in the one last year, it was somebody else's paws because I played a dog. It's a really funny play named Sylvia. Yeah, it's about a dog. It's so much fun. There's just so many different things you get to do, and one thing that I love so much about theater and film and TV as well is that it's always different, and you get to kind of like the traveling and the learning, as you're constantly seeing things in a new way or experiencing new things.
Thank you so much, Kalia, for being with us today. And I give you another chance to sing. But if it doesn't come, no problem, no pressure. But
Name the song?
but we have had a lovely conversation. Yes, okay, it's coming.
Yeah. I could sing a little bit from the first song that I ever wrote. I think I was 16 or 17.
Okay.
It made me start playing guitar. Hopefully I'm in tune without an instrument. But it goes, I had a dream last night. I had a dream the world was perfect. I had a dream last night. I had a dream that we weren't separated. That's a little
Oh,
bit.
beautiful. Thank you so much, and thank you for being our guest.
Thank
I,
you.
I wish
I thought
you
we
all I wish you all the very best in your career and in your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You as well.
Bye bye.